Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with another batch of new comic book reviews. These are reviews of books that you would find on the shelf if the comic book shops were actually open. So, as always, we're going to be looking at a DC, a Marvel, an Independent, and I throw in a little extra, and this time it's another DC. We've got the Unkillables #2, Hawkman #22, Ghostbusters Year 1, 2, and Inferno. Not a #2, it's a #19, but it's still going to be cool. So, let's get this party started. Alright, so first up, let's talk about DCeased Unkillables and the worst cover. It was way too cluttered. I'm sorry, you got to go for the variants on this one, like the one I use in the thumbnail. I also want to talk about the art. I was looking at the art this time around, and by the way, the story's amazing. It really is a good time, and I'll talk about that in just a second, but I was looking at the art and I realized, not all that great, is it? I mean, you know, it does the trick. You could tell Commissioner Gordon is Commissioner Gordon. You could tell the blob with the hood on his head is the Red Hood and all that kind of stuff. But it looks, I don't know, it looks like they're drawing it as if they wanted to be kind of an old-timey TV show that you really couldn't make the picture out because it was still too grainy. It just seems to be like that, you know, while they still manage to make everything look exactly like they're supposed to. It's just, I don't know, there's no finesse. I guess that's what I'm getting at, you know. It's all there, but there's just no oomph, panache, or whatever you want to say. I don't know. I'm not going to repeat all of the words from a friend like me, but I'll just say a few of them. So the story here, we're in the orphanage that we left off on, you know, the one with the big room full of dead bodies that they're not dealing with. And also we've got the village, the Mirrorverse, and Shiva decides she's going to go out of the Mirrorverse to try to get Batgirl, her daughter, to go back with her. This caused a little bit of a fight, but when she goes back and she's like, hey, we did this, and everybody's mad and all that kind of stuff, Wonder Woman bursts in. There's more stuff between those two things, but that's one of the main things. And Wonder Woman is a bit of a zombie, and by a bit I mean completely. And yeah, she pretty much takes care of business there. There's also a few other things, like we do find out what happens to one, or what happened to a very cool superhero, and it actually kind of hits. There's a lot of emotion in this book. It really does play with the heartstrings a couple of times, while also being a pretty badass action book. If you're not picking this up, you're just doing yourself a disservice. Ghostbusters Year 1, #2. So this time we're looking at Ray, and I've got to tell you, one of the better things about this series is they have been kind of filling in the holes to the story. You know, you get what was his name? Winston. You get his story, how he came about to meet the Ghostbusters, his viewpoint, and the whole 9 yards. Here, you remember the library ghost at the beginning? You know, I got a plan. Get her! That one. They go back and they show us how they dealt with the library ghost. And they do, of course, do a little interview with the people that Venkman was testing and everything. And that's one of the really strong points about this book. It really does touch on these particular issues and everything. And the things that, you know, like I said, it's filling in the blank. We even see the sponge migration, which I thought was pretty dang impressive. It seems like they watched the movies, they wrote down the little notes and said, no, let's show this and let's show that. And created, in my opinion, a fun little comic book. But I think that about the Ghostbusters books from IDW anyway. This is just solid. It's one of the most consistently good books out there. Now, some people have complained about the cartoonish ways that the Ghostbusters look. That's because they don't have the likeness rights. They can't actually draw them to look like Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and all them. But still, you get used to it, and what you get in the end is just a damn good time. And really, when it comes right down to it, isn't that what you really want from any of the modern day comic books? Just pick up a book, read it, have a great time, have some fun, maybe feel an emotion or two. This book delivers. Daredevil number 19, Inferno 1 of 2, Kitchens Fall. Dun dun dun. Now the one I've got has Spider-Woman on it. It was the Spider-Woman. That was my cover. I actually like that cover a little bit better than the one there, because both of them are kind of generic and have nothing to do with what's going on inside the book. What we get here is, okay, so the story so far is that there's been a gang war, and the Owl has kind of won, and he's taken over, and there's a standing order that cops should not go into Hell's Kitchen. And that's been the way, except last issue, a little kid went missing, so the cops said, well, screw that. We're going to go and find this little kid. We're going to find this little girl and take care of business because, you know, we're cops. That's what we do. And they did, so the Owl hired a whole bunch of hitmen and a whole bunch of bad guys like Crossbones and Bullseye and so forth to basically destroy Hell's Kitchen. As a matter of fact, one of his lines is, you know, I don't have to hunt for so-and-so if all I got to do is destroy it, you know, destroy Hell's Kitchen. I don't have to hunt for them in Hell's Kitchen. I just have to destroy Hell's Kitchen. And it's a very exciting issue. It tells a lot about the characters. What ends up happening is the citizens of Hell's Kitchen begin to stand up against the hitmen. Unfortunately, one of those hitmen is Bullseye, and he loves to kill devils, as he says, because all the citizens, in order to stand up, decide that they're going to wear Daredevil masks and shirts and so forth. It's so odd. And, you know, that just kind of sets him off. Oh, and there's Stiltman, and he looks awesome. I know, not a lot of people say that about Stiltman, but it works here, man. Of course, this is the rah-rah bit for Matt Murdock. For a long time now, he's not been wearing the outfit, you know, I gotta learn to be myself again, you know, that kind of thing. And at the end, he's kind of had enough. Don't want to give too much away, just to say that this is a fun series. I'm glad it's back up to par. For a while there, I was really worried about it, but it's picked up again. And I've said it before, Daredevil hands down is one of Marvel's best comic books. Speaking of best comic books, here is Man with Mace and Wings, number 22. I can't say actually I shouldn't be saying Daredevil's name, and I shouldn't be saying this guy's name either. Because every time I've really talked or spoken well of a comic book series, it ends up getting a bad team put on it. So here you go. This book sucks. This is absolute garbage here. Man with Mace and Wings, number 22. Just forget about the fact that you're really seeing the apex of this particular storyline, where a lot of stuff exciting should happen and such like that, but it's just not. It's incredibly boring. The art, as you can see right here, is horrible. What? Oh my gosh. It almost makes you want to puke. This art is so bad. The story itself also. I actually fell asleep 5 times while reading this because it's just boring. Some would tell you that, hey, you know what? This book causes rickets. I didn't get rickets, although I am noticing there's a rash forming just by talking about this book, and that's how bad it is. It's nowhere near as good as, say, a Brian Michael Bendis story. That's basically what I'm saying. Would I ever buy this again? Oh, absolutely not. No. Give me Brian Michael Bendis on Superman any day, or Erica Henderson on, let's say, a Sandman, perhaps. That would be kind of interesting. But this, where we have the infected taking over the ship, finally getting the better of Hawk Girl so he could do what he needs to do and to destroy all life. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know how they could think that this mishmash of poor art and bad storytelling could ever excite someone as much as this had bored me. So anyway, there you go. That's my take on Man with Mace and Wings, number 22. It's reading this is the equivalent of saying tying pots and pans to your body during an electric storm and running through an open field. I think, yeah, that's the same sense of exhilaration you get reading this comic. So there you go, gang, and as always, I line the covers up here at the end from best to worst, except for, I have to say, this one right here, Man with Mason Wings, which is absolute garbage. There otherwise were no bad books. It's just an entertaining week for comics, so I'm very happy to say this. I would love to see some books do a little bit better, and I think you guys would do yourself a favor if you picked any one of these up. Unfortunately, I guess online these days, huh? But that's just my opinion. What is yours? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, click on one of the ones that are popping up around you. And don't forget, click like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell if you haven't done it already, making sure notifications are on for everything and all. And if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Patreon or to Ko-Fi, drop $1 in the till. Helps keep the lights on, helps keep making videos for you. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.